I believe I've gone on record enough times at this point in saying that the Galaxy Z Fold 4 is one of my favorite devices of all time. There's just so much about this thing that I really, really do like. However, that being said, when I used the Galaxy S23 Ultra, there were a handful of things about it that I must admit, even though I did want to go back to my Z Fold, there were some things that I did absolutely miss about this device that I hope that Samsung can bring to the Fold series, if not this year, hopefully very, very soon. And in this video, we're going to talk about a handful of those things from the S23 Ultra that I hope are indicators for what is coming to the Z Fold 5, which should be launching sometime this fall. And the first one, the most obvious one for me, is the brightness of this screen. Guys, when you are outside in particular, this screen is absolutely glorious. It is so preposterously bright. It is fantastic. And while I never really thought I had much of a problem, we're talking about the tablet display here, the internal display on the Fold 4. After using the S23 Ultra for a little while, I now have a problem with my Fold 4's tablet display because it's just not nearly bright enough anymore. Comparatively, it's so dim. Let's see here. We're talking about a display on the Fold 4 that is 1200 nits of peak brightness, and on the S23 Ultra, it can hit 1750 in short bursts, and that's really all I need, right? I don't need it to be 1750 all the time. When I step outside, take it out of my pocket, I'm not going to be out there watching a movie, right? I just need it to be able to get there for me for a little while to answer a text message. It does it, and it's fantastic. I should add, this is definitely just as true of the cover display on the Fold 4 as well. We need both of these screens to get quite a bit brighter. Another really obvious one that is actually going to happen is the improvements from the system on a chip. Now look, most of the time, going from the Snapdragon 865 to the 888 to the 8 Gen 1, normally these things aren't like revolutionary changes, but I think that we saw going to the 8 Plus Gen 1, I think that's the correct name, on the Z Fold 4, we actually got a little bit better longevity over the Fold 2 and the Fold 3. When you look at what we've got going on in this bad boy, the 8 Gen 2, the longevity has improved dramatically. Granted, this is a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, but even still, this is one of the longest lasting true flagship Android phones that has ever been released. It is impressive battery life, okay? You're getting 7, 8, 9 hours of screen on time on this thing. And look, I do understand the battery is not going to be as big in this, even though it's a big device. There's a hinge in the middle, and it's hard to squeeze that big battery in there, although maybe that could be an additional one. Find a way to squeeze a bigger battery in there. But with that better, more efficient processor, even with the big screen, the longevity should increase, should improve on the Fold 5. We've seen this processor giving better battery life to pretty much every phone it's been put in so far. So bringing that to the Fold, look, I don't even really care about the performance. The Fold 2 was fast enough, okay? I'm good. I don't need any more frames in the games I don't play on my phone. I just want it to be fast enough, it is, and better battery life, which will happen when they bring the 8 Gen 2 to the Fold 5. Another thing that is kind of often overlooked that I really, really, really want on the next Fold device is the ability to use the ultra-wide like a macro camera. I love taking this phone, just like with my Pixel, holding up really close to stuff and getting these incredible, beautiful macro shots. Now, currently on my Fold, what I do is I go into Pro mode, I use the manual focus, I pinch to digitally zoom in to 2x, and I simulate my own little macro camera. Two pretty good results. Maybe there's one on the screen now that I took the other day that I thought looked really, really nice, but with this, there's no fiddling around with any Pro mode. You just hold it up to the subject, it switches to that ultra wide, gets up real close, and it takes really crisp, nice photos that haven't had to be digitally cropped in at all. I want that on my Fold 5. Now, one that I can't almost even believe that I'm saying, because if you had to make me choose between bigger battery or this next thing, I'm going with the bigger battery. But it would be really cool if we had a silo for the S Pen, okay? I don't ever use my S Pen. It's not true. I rarely use my S Pen, but every now and again, maybe I'm taking a screenshot and I need to annotate it really quickly. That's like the only time I ever use it. Having it be right there, just in the body of the phone is really, really convenient, okay? And I know I have a case where I can hold the pen in the back, but it's annoying. It's annoying to have it just strapped to the back of the device. Having it in the device itself would be really nice. Now, I'm not willing to sacrifice a whole lot to get that, right? I'm not going to give you any battery space to get that convenience because I'm just not going to use it that often. But if we can get it without a huge loss, it would be really nice to have, in particular for those people that, you know, for whom drawing makes much more sense. And honestly, using a pen on this screen to me makes way more sense than it does on this screen. As big as it is not nearly as big as this one. So the pen makes more sense to me on the Z Fold than it does on the S23 Ultra as it is. So that would be cool to see. I don't think it's coming with the Fold 5 though. Another one that would be really nice to have brought over from the 23 Ultra is the enhanced charging speed. With the Fold 4, we are limited to 25 watts of wired charging, whereas with the S23 Ultra, we can peak at 45 watts of charging. That is very, very fast. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't actually want to be charging my device at 80 watts, at 100 watts, at 200 watts. I don't want this, okay? I don't want this. It scares me, especially coming from you, Samsung. Let's go easy on the heat generating charging speeds. But if we could at least get the 45 watts on the Fold 4, that would be very, very cool. And it makes me wonder, like, what holds them back in that regard? Because the Ultra is the only phone where they push that charging rate particularly high, right? If I'm paying this much for this Fold device, this super premium device, I'd like to have the fastest available charging speeds. And let me end with something that might be surprising. Some of you may be thinking, he's probably about to say he wants the 200 megapixel sensor to be brought over to the Fold as well, and I actually don't. Rumors are currently swirling that the 108 megapixel sensor from the prior S20 whatever Ultra phones is going to be coming to the Fold, and if it does, that's fine, it's whatever. Personally, I couldn't care less. I think that the primary sensor currently, the 50 megapixel that's in the Fold 4 now, is sufficient. What I would like to see, and again, this might not be possible for the sake of internal space needed for phone components, but the thing I actually do want is the periscope telephoto zoom. We don't have to get to 10x, although I wouldn't turn it down. You know, I would take a 10x telephoto because I love that thing. Some of the pictures I've taken with that thing are fantastic. But I would at least love to see like a 5x telephoto. Leave the 50 in there, it's fine. But give me like a 5x telephoto like I have in my Pixel 7 Pro, and I'm going to be very, very happy with that. Guys, what features from the S23 Ultra that I didn't mention do you want to see brought over to the Galaxy Z Fold 5? Let me know in the comments down below. Before you go, check out my channel partner, Mint Mobile, to save a ton of money on your cell phone bill like I have. I have saved at this point probably thousands of dollars now by using Mint Mobile. They are fantastic. I will see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.